Hey, what's up? So this is going to be a tutorial video for a friend who wanted to set up the Resident Evil 1 Seamless HD project on PC. I figured I'd upload this publicly so that other people can use it if they wanted to. So an issue with the official tutorial that's available on YouTube is that the description on that video has links to each of the mods, but they're like cut off, and a lot of people are having issues, I think, setting it up because of that. And I just went through this the other day myself and having to Google quite a few things. So this is just going to be a video to kind of fly through that and show where all the websites are. I'm going to provide links in the description that actually work, and we'll go from there. So there's quite a few things you're going to need to do this tutorial. First, you're going to need some kind of archiver program. So I recommend 7-zip, which is what the official tutorial recommends as well. You can also use WinRAR or any other archiver you want to use. I just always use 7-zip for like over a decade now, so I advise using that. The other thing you're going to need, and that's really important, is going to be the actual game. And the issue here is that it's the original Japanese PC release of Biohazard. The name it is in Japan instead of Resident Evil. And it's the Mediakite Ultra 2000 version. The issue with this is I can't show you how to get this because of the fact that that would be condoning and, more importantly, showing you how to perform piracy, so I'm not going to do that. However, I can give you a bit of a tip, and that's Google is your friend, and if you Google around a bit, you'll figure out how to do it. But anyways, moving on. So you're also going to need 4 different mods, mod files specifically anyway. You're going to need Classic Rebirth patch for RE1. You're going to need Mediakite version 1.01 update for the base game. You're going to need Resident Evil HD mod by Team X. And you're going to need the Resident Evil 1 Seamless mod itself. So to get started with that, I'm going to show the websites, which, like I said, I'm going to add the links in the description. So these first two I'm going to show you don't really need. It's just showing you where the official sites for these things are. So this is the RESHDP, one hell of a name, Resident Evil Seamless HD project. So, and you can get to the downloads from here. There's also, this is the Resident Evil Classic Rebirth website. And the main 2 links you would be looking for here are the official 101 patch by Capcom, and then the Classic Rebirth DLL. So if you go over to these 4, and these are the main 4 I'm going to put in the description, not the first 2. These 4 are the ones that you're going to need. So Resident Evil Classic Rebirth DLL, you're going to need the official patch to 1.01, you're going to need the Resident Evil HD mod, and then you're going to need the Resident Evil Seamless HD project version 1.1. Now there's a bit of a confusion about this one here, I think, because of the fact that if you go to files, you're going to see, oh wait, that was the wrong thing, this files. So if you look here, you're going to see 2 things, and all you need is the first one. I mean this one right here, the Resident Evil Seamless HD project for PC Mediakite. You do not need patch 1.1. This is for people who, I guess, originally installed the 1.0 version and had to now update. You do not need to do that. This one is 1.1, and it even says it in the zip file whenever you look at that. So, but now let's actually do that. Now I'm not going to actually download these files on this video because I already have them. So, and they're off to the side on a different monitor for me. So what we'll do is I'm just going to load up my downloads. So to simulate me actually downloading it, I guess. And then here is the folder here, Resident Evil 1 HD Seamless. I've set up on the side. Now I advise you do this as well. Let me go ahead and drag these files over. Sorry, I have this on a separate monitor. I'm just actually, yeah, I'll just drag them over. So throw them in here. And you're going to see 5 files. I'm going to hit, let's see, let me actually, okay, the ordering is different here, but that's fine. So basically, you see these 5 download files, and I have a separate folder here. The idea behind this is I advise you make a separate one and keep your original file somewhere, and then make a copy of those, which is what I'm going to do now. And you can click the first one, hold Shift, click the last, select them all, and then Control C to copy. And then what you're going to do is click the other window and do Control V, and let that operation perform, and then basically you're making a copy of all the files, and the idea is you're going to do your actual modding in this one over here. And that way you don't affect the original files in any way. So if you mess something up, you can just delete everything in this folder and then copy over the files again and start from the original state. So that's what I advise doing. And we'll start this in a second once this finishes. And you do not need to install the ISO either. You can just load it with your archiver and extract the files that you need, which is what we're going to do. Alright, so now that it's copied over, what we're going to do is right click the Biohazard file, the ISO, and you're going to hit open with and then 7-zip or whatever your archiver is. Hit open. Sorry, this opened to the side over here. Okay, so you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff in here. You don't need hardly any of this. You're just going to go into the HORR file and then take this JPN file and you're going to drag it into whatever your working folder. So we're going to drag it right here, extract that out. There we go. Close this out. And now you're going to notice you have the JPN in here. That's great. I'm going to hit F5 just to sort of reorganize that. And then the next thing we're going to do is on Mediakite right here. You're going to double click Mediakite. This has the biohazard.exe. You're going to extract that and you're going to hit OK. And you can also do that by right clicking. You don't have to double click. If you want to right click, open with, and then your archiver, that works perfectly fine. But as you can see here now, the biohazard.exe is here. And with that done, we're going to do one more thing before we do a test, and that's we're going to go ahead and do the Resident Evil, what is it again? The Resident Evil Classic Rebirth patch. So if you double click this and hit, oh, okay, it's the DLL. So you hit extract and add your DLL. And now you have these three things in here, the JPN folder, the biohazard.exe, and the DLL file. With those done, we want to run a test to make sure what we've done so far is working properly. So what you want to do is just double click the biohazard.exe and you're going to get this message. Just ignore it, hit OK. And then you're going to see this, and in the configuration window you only need to change two things. Resolution needs to be set to 1280 by 960, and then you need to turn off texture filtering and then hit OK. So with that done, we now know that's running properly. Shouldn't be any issues. Yep, let me pick up my controller here. Yeah, and this already has like controller support right out of the gate. So if you have like an Xbox controller, which is what I'm using, plug it to your PC, it'll work. You can exit this out either by clicking the X at the top of the window, or you can, there's actually an in-game button, F9. Sorry. F9, there it goes, and then you're going to see return to title, F9, and then, okay, F9, there we go, and if you press F9 again, it'll exit. So, anyway, with that done, the next thing we need to do is continue on. We can go to the Resident Evil HD mod. So double click this, hit extract, hit OK. You want to make sure you're doing it to the, your working folder. And you'll get some conflicts that'll come up in this, and that's fine. You're just going to hit yes to all. You're overwriting some files in the base game here. So close that out, and now you have even more stuff in here. That's totally fine. Just open it up again. We're going to test one more time. So we're going to hit this. Make sure your resolution is still set to 1280 by 960, and texture filtering is off. Hit OK. And now we can see that the Resident Evil HD mod is working. So I'm going to skip that and
Resident
new game real fast. Yeah, and you can see here down at the bottom on the title screens and stuff, there's a Resident Evil HD mod version, whatnot, by Team X. So that's what you want to see. Once you're done with that, you can just close it out. And then last but not least, we're going to do the RESHDP, so the seamless file. So if you double click this, hit extract, hit OK, yes to all again. And this is just more overwrite. So now you're actually overwriting some of the Resident Evil HD mod stuff as well that Team X did. And then with that done, you pretty much have the entire thing set up. There's a few things I want to go over though. So like if you double click this, you have the 1280 by 960, but you're going to notice it's not full screen just like earlier. So texture filtering is off. I'm going to hit OK. And you're also going to get an extra window here. You want to click this, go to Dev Seamless HD Project. And this is what you're going to do to launch it appropriately. And then hit OK. Alright, so with that done, it's definitely set up now. Now, one thing to be aware of, you'll see the Seamless HD project at the bottom down here. One thing to be aware of, you'll notice you're not in full screen. How do you get in full screen? So the way you do that is you're going to hit F8, and that's going to put you in full screen. If you hit F8 again, you'll notice you get different size windows, and you can just keep hitting F8, and it'll cycle through until eventually you're back in full screen. And so now, let me skip out of that. So we're in full screen. Another thing you can do if you press, I think it's F6. Let me see. Yeah, F6 brings up like some info. So like if you start a game, you can actually see the timer. You can actually check what your time is in the game. So if you're going for like a speed run or something like that. You also will see your frame rate. And if I hit new here, we're just going to watch the video real fast.
Resident Evil.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we're searching for the helicopter of our compatriots Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of our mission.
You haven't found it?
No, I haven't found it yet. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. Bravo Team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
Look, Chris!
It was Bravo Team's helicopter. Nobody was in it. But strangely, most of the equipment was still there. However, we soon discovered why.
It's amazing how much better these videos look.
Hey! Come here!
Joseph!
Yeah, now you get to see the full video. instead of the edited one that I guess was released on all the US copies.
No! Don't go!
Iconic voice acting.
Jill, run for that house!
Chris Redfield.
Alright, we're just gonna skip to this. Alright. So. Okie dokie. Alright, so now that we're in, oh, well.
What is this?
Wow, what a mansion!
Captain Wesker, where's Chris?
Stop it! Don't open that door!
But Chris is...
What is it?
Maybe it's Chris. Now, Jill, can you go?
I'm going with you. Chris is our old partner, you know.
Okay, let me handle this. Stay alert!
A dining room.
Alright, so basically, yeah, as you can see, it's working appropriately. Now, I've heard some people comment on the black bars to the side. You're not going to get rid of that. I mean, this is an old game. It was made, I think, 1998 or so. The games back then were made for monitors back then, or screens back then, which were mostly 4:3 resolution, or 4:3 ratio. So on a modern monitor, which is going to be 16:9, you're just not getting rid of it. And if you do get rid of it, like you can see if you play the Resident Evil 0 game, the HD remaster or whatnot, they actually have an option for scaling it to 16:9, but there's stuff that gets cut off and it's blurrier, and I just don't personally like it. So you're going to have to deal with the black bars. That's just how it was. But one thing I wanted to point out, let me close this out. The clock is about to drive me crazy. So basically, you're going to notice if you play through this, there's definitely some, I mean, I love what they've done with the videos, and they're definitely way more clear than they used to be. But I have noticed, like, playing through the actual game, you can definitely see artifacts with, like, some bending in weird ways, because it's actually using AI. And there's definitely some strange things that are going on graphically when it's using that AI. Now, me personally, I'm a purist. I enjoy games the way they originally were. I actually like playing Resident Evil 1, and I do. You can see over here, I have RetroArch. I play through the original series all the time, and the original resolution with the original blurry graphics, like with the fuzziness. I actually think that era brings a lot to survival horror, specifically with games like Silent Hill. I think, you know, that type of graphical style and the fuzziness of the graphics actually made the horror a little bit more potent. But that's just my personal opinion. I can understand why people want to try it and look at it. Even I knew I wasn't going to like it, but I still set this up and took a look at it because I was interested to see, you know, just how, like, clean they could get it to look. And it does look great, aside from a few things here and there in artifacting. But overall, yeah, this is how you set it up. It's pretty simple from here on out. I do recommend, you know, if you're looking to play old games, I definitely recommend RetroArch, and I don't know if it's Arc or Arch, I'm not sure, but I recommend checking that out as an emulator that allows you to sort of like host a whole bunch of emulators. It's like a hub for your emulators, and you can get like PS1 emulators, NES, Super Nintendo, Sega, all that. I mean, I've been using it for quite a long time now. I've played through the Metal Gear Solid games again using it. You can even go up to, you know, like PS2 games. I'll play through the Final Fantasy games, stuff like that. You actually see I have a folder here on my, let's see, was it D drive? with ROMs and ISOs. So your ROMs are your games that are going to be like, you know, your older games, so like your Super Nintendos and stuff like that. And you can see I got a couple of games here. There's like random stuff. And then like Nintendo Entertainment System. There's all sorts of stuff in here. And then you have your ISOs, which are going to be like your CD images. So you have like Final Fantasy, like all the Final Fantasy PS1 games. 9, 7, 8, and these by the way run great. All of them run fantastic, especially the PS1 era Final Fantasy games. You can tell people put a lot of work into making sure they're emulated well. Um, but anyways, yeah. So now you've seen it, how to set it up. If you're into doing, you know, the images that way, I mean, like getting the graphical fidelity that good, then that's great. Me personally, I could keep playing it the way I've always played it ever since 1998. But I can understand why maybe somebody who wasn't born in that time might want to like update the graphics or make it look cleaner and sharper. I can totally get that. But for me, the nostalgia is in the blurriness. So, but anyways, yeah. Hopefully this video has been helpful. If there's anything you need to know, feel free to shoot me a DM or just comment below, and I'll be happy to help. Anyways, have a good one.